Welcome to the Monday Night Call-Up on WaiverTube. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lush. Alongside me is Adam Puttycomb.
How's it going, Jeff?
It's going good. Ready to get going? Show number 1. Season 1, episode
Season 1,
1.
show 1. Yeah, we're good.
Yes, and this is exciting. I want to say hello to our first viewer on YouTube.
Congratulations.
Hello. And to our 15 followers out there. Thanks for jumping in early.
Good stuff, yeah, before the first show, too.
Yeah,
that's great. You know, when you think about it, 15 followers, pretty paltry, but when you look at the attendance around some of the rinks in the league,
not bad.
Not bad, percentage-wise.
Yeah, no, we're doing well.
And if you're wondering what the show is all about, I think it's American Hockey League. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, we noticed that there wasn't a ton of places we could get great AHL news and content. There's, the AHL website and there's a few other sites, but we thought, for video and something you could get to quick and easy to do, there was no YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of news. And when it comes to actual content, you see a lot of stuff from the teams, obviously, which is internal, and you see a lot of people following the recalls and the send downs. But when it actually comes to the nitty gritty reporting and personal opinions,
whose power play sucks and why.
There it is.
Like that, we're going to be able to give you that type of editorialized content.
Definitely,
which is exciting.
I think it's a learning experience for us as it goes, but we're gonna try to do it.
And we're gonna take your feedback as well. If you're following us on Twitter right now, WaiverTube on Twitter.
Yeah, at WaiverTube.
At WaiverTube. If you're following us and you have a topic you think we should get to, tweet at us and we'll include it in the show. And we'll give you a shout out on our show.
Yeah, and that's definitely another aspect of this show. It's going to be very interactive. We want to get people involved. We want to get the opinions of all 30 markets, not just one, not just two, not just Canadian. The full league.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that's where the disconnect is just getting fans on board from all different markets, which we're hoping to do here.
Yeah, because the one thing we found is that you'll be a fan of, say, the Toronto Maple Leafs, but that may not make you a fan of the Marlies because you may have a team in your city that then you follow. So I find there's lots of different fans out there and lots of different perspectives, and we're going to hope to aggregate those on our Twitter feed, and then that'll come to the YouTube channel.
So Jeff, I guess a great place to start this week is the AHL relocation bit that's come up this past week. Darren Dreger of TSN actually posted a blog about it, and it's pretty much a lot of the West Coast NHL teams are not pleased with the way the AHL is laid out right now when it comes to geography. Travel distances, a lot of East Coast AHL teams affiliated with the West Coast teams. Dave Andrews has been informed. I don't know how far this is going to go, but this could have been said 20 years ago or could be said today. It's a problem now and it was a problem then. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just from a team's perspective, if you have a player that's constantly going down to the A and back up to the show, he's traveling a lot of miles, getting jet lag, getting fatigued, travel, cross-continental travel, not great on the body. In general, I think, this is a problem, but the problem comes back to if there's a hockey market on the western part of North America, they already have an NHL team. Like, it's not like San Francisco's clamoring for an AHL team.
Exactly.
They have the Golden State Warriors. They're happy. They don't want an AHL team. So it's a needs basis. Like, the eastern part of North America loves hockey. Eastern Seaboard loves hockey. So, well, yes, in theory, if you're if you're the Phoenix Coyotes and you want your team closer to you, unfortunately, you can barely have a market in Phoenix.
We had a pretty good debate on Twitter this week, actually, with some of the followers, and we actually mentioned the fact about that. You got to go where the fans are, and are the fans on the West Coast? And I don't really see it right now. Markets that are filled are either ECHL teams or NHL teams or NHL wannabes. So for the AHL, I don't know what the solution is to that, and for those teams that are clamoring on the West Coast, I think it's up to them to come up with their own solution.
Now, also though, you look at some markets on the West Coast. Seattle had a hockey history, currently have an arena without a major tenant. That could be an AHL market. You look at Kansas City, new arena, no major tenant. That could be a West Coast AHL market. You then look at the model that Winnipeg did to get their NHL team. They had an AHL team, ran it a very good business model, made the case to the NHL, got the Jets back. If you're Seattle or if you're Kansas City and you're looking to get an NHL team, maybe start the AHL and kind of do the business side of what an AHL player does. So I think that's, if you're Seattle right now, get an AHL team, prove there's a market there. Then if Phoenix or Florida or one of those teams comes on the market, you can go to Gary Bettman and say, look, I've been running this great AHL team in Seattle. Ready for the big time.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, I don't know why Kansas City's not going down that path. And Seattle, they do have a junior team right now, but they're not playing at the big arena, so there's definitely room to move there, and that's definitely a great way to get in. You got to prove yourself as a market.
Yep.
And for Kansas City and Seattle, I don't know why the AHL is they're not exploring the AHL, but why the AHL is not exploring them. But I'm sure that's been looked at.
Yeah, now it would be an interesting situation for, say, Phoenix to have a team in Seattle, than for Seattle to be more hockey mad than Phoenix.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I think that's another issue where if your AHL market starts becoming stronger than your NHL market, do you then do a team swap?
No, for sure. And I think from an NHL perspective, are they kind of holding their cards tight when it comes to markets, and maybe they don't want AHL teams in certain markets. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't see why that'd be. You see how quick Winnipeg moves. So
but at the end of the day, is that the AHL's problem? It probably isn't.
No.
And
that's what I think. I think it comes down to, they've obviously contacted Dave Andrews, but what does he have to say about this? It's like, we're doing the best we can with the markets we have. If you guys want to go in a different direction or you're not pleased, show us some markets you looked at or show us some viable options here. And I don't think that's happening. I think it's a lot of complaining and not much movement.
Yeah. So this is a story that we'll be following. I mean, we're going to keep our fingers on the pulse of this story, and stay tuned next week and we'll have an update.
Definitely.
If any news comes out. So yeah, a big story that came out a few weeks ago. Chris Pronger was hit in the eye by Mikhail Grabovski and an errant stick. And now I know what you're thinking immediately. This isn't an AHL story. However, the visor debate has come. But it is.
Yeah.
Because the visor debate has come up again in the NHL. The Philadelphia Flyers making Chris Pronger wear a visor when he's ready to return. The AHL has a mandatory visor rule. It's had it now for some time. The question is, does the AHL have that rule right? Are they correct to make players wear visors? And then, should the NHL look to adopt this rule after seeing it if the AHL has the correct rules in place?
I think from an AHL perspective, it was the right move. The league's a lot younger now than it was 10 years ago, and it is increasingly younger and younger. So when you got a lot of people come from junior directly to the AHL, which wasn't really the case as much, even a decade ago, they're mandatory in junior, so it seems to just trickled into the AHL now, and I think it'll eventually trickle up to the NHL. But I honestly don't think that the NHL is ever going to make an actual hardcore decision until a large majority of their players are wearing visors. You look at the helmet thing. They kind of let it fizzle out, and then when the last person finally left that didn't wear a helmet, which was Craig McTavish, it was like from now on everyone has to wear a helmet.
Yeah, they grandfathered it in.
So I think it's going to be the same thing from an NHL perspective.
But do you think they may already be there though? 19 of the top 20 NHL scorers all wear visors now. They may be at the point where there's enough players wearing visors. The league now, there's lots of people coming over from Europe that wear visors. The CHL has a visor rule. The AHL, the feeder league to the NHL, has a visor rule.
I honestly think they're one group of retirement away. Like, they're not quite there yet, but the guys that are ready to retire in the next 2-3 years, you're going to see a lot of those guys leave, and then it's going to be on the table then, percentage-wise, to bring it in. But I don't think the NHL is going to... They don't want to make a ruling that's going to really ruffle the feathers of 30% of the league when they don't really want to do that.
At the end of the day, it's a CBA issue. That would have to be collectively bargained. That's up in 2 years.
Yeah, so that looks like a nice timeline to kind of solve some of those issues.
So now as part of the program where we're going to talk about what happened in the AHL the past week, a great place to start is the AHL Player of the Week. Adam, who was it?
Well, that was Chris Kolonis, Jeff, of the Abbotsford Heat. 7 points in 2 games. Talk about a comeback.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Didn't know much about this guy, but that's why the internet's around.
Great tool.
Did a little quick Google search today. He was actually out for the entire 2010-2011 season. Made his comeback Friday night. They got a big win against Grand Rapids. He put up a hat trick and an assist, and then Abbotsford put up another win on Sunday against the Hamilton Bulldogs 6-2, and he was in for 3 points again. So great weekend. Don't know if he can keep it up.
I mean, that's gonna be the question. I imagine if you start out 2 games, 7 points. Is he a point per game player? He was a high draft pick originally coming out of junior in the early
19th overall, 2000.
So the guy has displayed skill set before. 7 points in 2 games, this white hot.
Yeah, and I just look at it and I don't think there's anywhere to go but down, because you're not going to put up 3.5 points a game. Well, I don't imagine that's going to stay.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does for the rest of the season. But great start. All right, Jeff, and now to jump into the standings and take a look at where teams are sitting. Great place to start is the Atlantic Division. St. John's IceCaps currently atop the division, but you got to look at the Worcester Sharks. They've only played 6 games to date, and a lot of games in hand. Playing the IceCaps twice this week should be interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely going to see some movement in that division. So looking into the Northeast Division, we have the Connecticut Whale in first. Everyone's played 9 or 10 games. Very tight division.
very tight, and but you got to expect that to change. Sean Avery on re-entry waivers this week, so he's out of the picture in Connecticut. I don't know if anyone will pick him up outside of New York Rangers, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, but he's going to the show.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so jumping into the East Division, Tampa's farm team, the Norfolk Admirals, leading the charge there, but it's pretty tight. Hershey's on their case. But, rookie Ashton Carter for Norfolk, playing great. Hopefully he can keep that up.
Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely someone that's making his impact in the A. So, Western Conference in the North Division, playing in front of a bunch of fans dressed up as chairs. We have the Toronto Marlies leading that division, and they're sparked by...
Well, you got Joey Crabb there now and Joe Colburn, who was player of the week last week. So, lots of scoring punch. I don't know if they can jump out and take a commanding lead in that division or not.
And the question remains, if a tree falls in the forest, but no one gets to hear it, does he still exist?
Well, people got Leafs TV.
That's true, they do have Leafs TV.
Moving to the Midwest Division of the Western Conference, you have the Charlotte Checkers leading the charge there, but Milwaukee is, is on their heels. They got a couple games in hand, so things could change this week.
So in the West Division, that's led by the Houston Aeros.
But close on their tail is the OKC Barons right now.
Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of the Monday Night Call-Up on WaiverTube.
And now that we have a channel and our first show is in the bag, we want you to subscribe. So click on the button above.
And if you're on Twitter, give us a follow at WaiverTube, where we'll be tweeting all the latest AHL news and also reading replies to various questions, such as our question of the week.
And Jeff, our question of the week is, with all the relocation talk in the AHL this week, why does your city deserve to have an AHL team?
And if you're a Toronto Marlies fan and your answer begins with attendance, you're already wrong.
And the best answers, or any, will be on the show next week. So be sure to leave it in the comment box below or tweet at us, WaiverTube, at WaiverTube.
If you're a fan of the Rockford Ice Hogs or the Lake Erie Monsters, and you're saying, I just watched this 8-minute video and didn't get to hear my team,
congratulations.
Because we don't have time to get to every team, if you want to guarantee that your team makes it onto the show, you're going to have to pay your dues.
And by saying pay your dues, that means send in any swag or merchandise that you have about your team, and we'll throw it up on the backdrop here.
Send us some swag. If you're a Lake Erie Ice Hog, send us an Ice Hog shirt, hat, or puck head. We'll lay it on the backdrop behind us during that show and guarantee that we'll talk about your squad.
It's not a link, it's a button.